Hello friends, welcome to this video. I was eagerly waiting for this topic to be, shared with you guys. The reason of that is the most anticipated and most nervous and most, tension वाला process होता है ना दिमाग में. That is what it is. Every team leader when they are about to become, getting into this the next level of the first time, जब पहली बार उनको लगता है कि they will handle people, right? तो एक बहुत खुशी होती है. They anticipate a lot of things in their head. They anticipate happiness, they anticipate nervousness, there is anxiety, there are a lot of things because there is very less people who will say अरे आगे बढ़ो सब ठीक हो जाएगा. आगे बढ़ो सब ठीक हो जाएगा is a good advice, is a nice advice. What is really needed? How you can become a successful team leader, or how you can become a successful manager tomorrow? The first and the foremost thing is you should know how to build a dream team. So today we will cover a lot of insights about how can you build a team from scratch, right? How can you make sure you nourish your team well? How do you align your team with the organization's goal and your goal? How can you make sure they feel valued and you feel valued? How can you get best out of your team available? All right, let's jump into this topic today. Now it all starts with welcome. Let's say you got a new team member in your team, right? And you were a team leader, you recently become a team leader. What you need to do is, first and foremost thing is imagine once you joined your company, what all things that make you feel valuable. First and foremost thing is make sure you welcome them from your heart. You hired them, or if you didn't hire them, someone else hired them, but then they are part of your team now. So make sure you welcome them, introduce them. A welcome message is very important, guys. Introduce them to the fellow team members, and if possible introduce them both personally and professionally. When I say professionally, have an introduction, an ice-breaking session on the floor itself, or maybe in a meeting room or boardroom, or informally, you should be able to connect with them over a cup of tea or coffee and call everyone in the canteen or in the cafeteria zone and make sure you introduce that guy. That way, the anticipation and nervousness that was supposed to be there in the new member's head will go away. The person will feel valued, right? Make sure you have the purpose clearly defined on very day one. The person should know where he's heading, right? The second very important thing is set the clear expectations. Clarity is the key, guys. Make sure you share the vision, mission, and the way this team is derived. What is the culture of the organizations? You have been a part of this company from long. This team, even if you are not a team leader, you were aware of the team dynamics and team culture. Make sure you share that very clearly and articulate that and say, where do you fit in? Why you were hired? There were a lot of things that you could get done from the guy or girl. Make sure you communicate that well. Your vision, your mission, your purpose, right, and their role should be defined at day one as clarity session. It's very important, guys. In nutshell, initial welcoming and setting very clear expectations and giving clarity to the team member, sets the bedrock of a high performing team. It's not only kills all the nervousness in their head, but it also makes sure that you are driving your culture ahead and everyone is on the same page. Right? Let's jump into the next step. The next very important aspect here is the art of team formation. We will talk about 4 pointers in this topic, the art of forming a team. So the formation of team is not merely bringing the individuals together, bringing people together from here and there in different cultures. It's making sure it's a strategic decision basically, and making sure you have all the cultures together and making sure they talk to each other, making sure they are aligned to achieve one goal that you have given to the team members. Right? So let's talk about all the 4 pointers one by one. Before you even begin this process, the first and foremost step is identifying the key roles. You should do some homework beforehand, guys. Right? If you know the overall target, of course, you would know from your managers and your senior managers and the management what your team is expected to do. Make sure you break all those activities into small roles. Identify the key skill sets of your teams and make sure you assign one particular role to each individual. Identifying the key role is the key here. So for example, let's say I am running a YouTube campaign, or you are as a manager is given an activity to run a YouTube campaign for your company. So it's called a marketing campaign. What do you need to do? You definitely need a marketing manager to handle that particular piece, or marketing lead. You would need a content creator, which is the key. You would need an editor, right? You would need some tools and that are required to be done you need an IT expert who can help you, use those tools well. So all those three, four things. You need to understand, yes, these key roles are here. And then let's jump to the next step. Once you identify the key roles, the next important step here is balancing the key skill sets. Now, many will not agree with this point with me, but I am strongly in favor of having team members with different skill sets. We need to find out the skill set which are complementary to each other instead of putting the identical skills together. Let's say एक बंदा दूसरे बंदे का दोस्त है और वो भी क्रिएटर है वो भी क्रिएटर है, दोनों को एक टीम में डाल दो. We don't need that. What do we need is we need complementary skills. Example, one person is a creator, the second person is an editor, the third person is a content writer. Put them together, make them into one team. Diversity brings creativity. It's very important that you think on these lines before you go to the next step. Now the skill set. The next step is cultural fit. The skill sets are definitely good, important and vital. But we need to also make sure that the people that you're giving the responsibilities are culturally fit. Right? We definitely, because see, at the end of the day, what do you want? You want definitely the goal to be achieved, but you want to achieve a goal with the sense of getting your team with you ever. You do not want to do a small term task. It's not a project management that you're doing one project at a time. See, project management is a deep topic. I'm not against anything. But once you're finishing one particular task, you can have simple, you can maybe play around with that. But once you want to create a dream team forever, you need to think from day one. So culture बहुत important है. ये देखो कि are they aligned with each other from the goal, from the vision, from the mission standpoint. If not, make sure you align them. Skill set के बाद next आता है, as I said, cultural fit. Let's go to the next step. Yeah, the next step is onboarding the team members. So once you have defined the task, identify the roles, you balance the skill set, you saw if they are culturally fit. The four important aspect is making sure you have a very candid onboarding process. Onboarding not only mean onboarding the person from in your team from day one, बंदा नया hire हुआ और आपकी team में आ गया. Onboarding could also mean onboarding a person from one project to the other project, from one skill set to the other skill set, challenging them, right? And making sure that they are aligned now with this particular goal of this task. ठीक है? So onboarding is a continuous process. आप onboarding करते जाओगे. When one project is over, one task is over, you will onboard the person to the next task and next. So onboarding में क्या होना चाहिए? Set the clear expectations. Tell those people, यार मैंने these are the key roles identified. Why you guys are hired in this particular project and why the other person is not, right? And what all you can accomplish. So this is called the overall onboarding process, right? The next step now here is hiring a dream team. So when I say hiring a dream team and why I kept it here, because initially I want to talk about the people who are already in the process, already in the organizations. Now we will dive deep into finding out how can we hire the dream person in your team and make your dream team. Okay, let's go to the first step in the hiring process. The first step in hiring a dream team, as we all know, is understood, is creating a job description. We call it JD. You would have heard a lot. Mera JD kidhar hai? Right? There are many companies wherein team members join और 6 महीने बाद पूछते हैं सर मुझे JD नहीं मिला. So my always advice here would be create a JD, right? Do not just create a list of qualifications. मैं बहुत सारी सीरीज देखता हूँ, बहुत सारी जॉब एप्लीकेशन देखता हूँ by the companies, by the team leaders who are actually list of qualifications. Skills required 1 2 3 4 5, right? Skills required BCom होना चाहिए, MCom होना चाहिए, MBA होना ही नहीं चाहिए. Lot of things. But no, it's not like that. You should definitely put it across what are the opportunities, right? What are the challenges, right? And put it in a way that excites people, that your job description should tell a story. It should not be merely putting the list of qualifications onto a table and then send it across to the people and say okay नौकरी पे डाल दिया और right monster पे डाल दिया इधर उधर all websites पे डाल दिया right किसी बंदे को भेज दिया. No, don't do that. Create, imagine that you want your dream team for life. If you want right candidates to apply, you need to write the JD in a very right way. Right? That's the first step. Let's go to the second step. The next logical step here is conducting the interviews. You need to conduct the interviews in a way that you are not simply judging them by what they have done in the past. Post history ho gaya, right? You should ask them to tell a compelling story to you, right? Or give them situational questions where an assessment has to be how can they be culturally fit. If the person has the attitude to learn, attitude to grow, attitude to do more for you, for himself as well for the company, that person is the best fit for you, in my opinion. It's very simple, right? But then I go deep into my community, right? When we talk about all these things in detail when the questions come in, right? I would encourage you to join my fresher leader community. But let's talk now on the how to conduct an interview. So when you conduct an interview, you make sure you have those situational questions. आपने अपनी situations देखी होंगी that you are, if you are a recent team leader, you would have seen, in fact it's been 3 to 4 years in an organization or 2 to 3 years in an organization, you would have seen a lot of things happening. Ask all those relevant questions. Ask the potential risks that are there, right? Ask if a person will continue with you. Do not ask these questions, कितने साल का plan है आपका? ये, this is not a good question. What's your future plan for 5 years? People do ask these questions. These are rubbish questions these days. I'm sorry to say that, very pardon my language. Right? You need to ensure that you give that excitement to the team member, that you are not simply looking at their CVs. CVs are mere papers for you to start the conversation, right? Gauge, give them stressful situations and see how the person is reacting. And those situations, if real time, if you can find some real time examples, that'll be amazing, right? That's the logical step of creating interviews. Let's go to the third step. Now the third step here is onboarding the right candidate. Selecting the right candidate rather. Onboarding is the next step. So when you select the right candidate, how do you do that? I've told you already. Once you finalize the shortlisted candidates, let's say you have finalized 10 candidates. Out of those 10 candidates, right, ask them relevant questions related to your vision and mission and see who is the best fit for the culture, right? You need to check check the performance history, get the relevant relevant background check and done, and everything is sorted. And then you hire them. Then you give them the final go ahead and say, okay, you are now there as part of this long-term mission and vision of my process. Okay, that's the selecting the right candidate. The last step here is in this process, hiring a dream team, is the onboarding status. Onboarding is crucial. Now, many people, many new members, when they join the organizations, they get a shock when they are onboarded. JD कुछ और कहता है, इंटरव्यू में कुछ और बात हुआ, हायर हुआ तो कुछ और ही चल रहा है. It can happen real time if your process is nowhere coming to you in the third party companies. You can relate to with me, I would say. But if it's not the case and you are the team leader and you know what you are hiring for, make sure your JD versus your onboarding onboarding process introduction with the team member on your process is matching somehow. I would not say सारा का सारा काम एक दिन में थोप दो. What I'm saying is clarity. We talked about in the first segment, right? Setting the clear expectations. When you're onboarding a person, make sure the person is welcomed. Make sure you're giving the clear goals and clarity in the role. Make sure you're aligning that person to the team members, introducing them to the team members. It's very vital and important, right? Once you're done with creating a JD, hiring a right candidate, taking interview, hiring a right candidate, onboarding. Once you're done with all of these, now welcome. You have a team now from the outside world as well, right? Now you merge them together, and the next here is team dynamics. That's the next topic. We'll discuss the successful engine that runs the overall team. Now, for many of you, team dynamics may be a big word, right? आप सोचोगे क्या चीज़ नहीं सिखा रहा है. It's a very simple stuff. Imagine if you're imagining your team as your team as trained. The team dynamics are the engine that propels it forward. आगे बढ़ाना, टीम को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए जो जो चीज़ें रिक्वायरमेंट होती है, I call them engine of success of a team dynamics. Right? We'll deep dive into it. There are 6 steps. Sorry, there are 6 steps to it. Let's go one by one. The first point here is the essence of the team dynamics. It refers to the discussions, interactions, and communications between the team members and between you and team members. It's very important step in the team dynamics, guys. If you manage it well, your team synergy will be amazing. And you'll be amazed at how your team will be able to achieve all the success in their life, individually and as a team as well. The second aspect is to have strong communication in the team members. If you want to have great team dynamics in your team, make sure you communicate well. Encourage open communication. When I say open communication, it has to be structured open communication. If a team wants to connect with you, you make sure they connect with you, they get your time well in advance, or even if there's an urgency, they can send you a message and they can talk to you. It has to be open, structured. I use the word structured. That's very important, guys. Your time is very precious as team leaders. Use it wisely. Communicate well. Give the instructions in advance. right? Make sure you hear them back. Make sure they are heard, they are valued. You enforce collaboration. That give them trust in you and your trust back in them. Let's go to the third point. The third point to have a great team dynamics is navigating the conflict resolution. यार ये बड़ा sensitive point है. I would always say conflicts are opportunities for you to grow, opportunities for you to learn, grow, and embrace. What happens is usually I seen on the floors, teams talk about the conflicts very in a very closed door environment, right? I agree with that you need to give constructive feedback in a closed door environment, right? Or somewhere aside from the floor in a cabin. But if you have a learning from a constructive feedback, make sure that is discussed openly, maybe without quoting the name and without quoting the incident. Make sure you share openly within the team meetings, right? Make sure you learn from them and never ever hide a conflict. If you are not able to resolve a conflict, could be any small or any big conflict, make sure this is highlighted to the HR or to the relevant person, to your manager or to the skip manager along with the manager to get the guidance, right? If you're sure about it, go ahead and take an action. Still, FYI, for your information is very important so that you're keeping the relevant people in loop. Tomorrow, if there is anything coming in, right, the team member is jumping in and saying, no, you didn't do you didn't do the right decision at that point in time. You'll have the relevant parties with you. It's safeguarding your and the team members, what is it? Interest. It's very, very important and vital. Communication along with navigating the conflict resolution. Let's go to the next point. In the team dynamics, the next important aspect here is embracing adaptability. Make sure you are adaptable to the changes. Be flexible. Why being flexible? What does it mean? What I'm saying, be flexible in changing the approach, your strategies. If needed, change roles as well. Build those skills. Make sure your team is mentally prepared to accept the challenges and changes. Adaptable teams are usually successful teams. They can adapt in any circumstances. Given the roles, given the opportunities, at the last minute, they'll be able to excel them. So adaptability is another key to have great team dynamics. Now the last point in the team dynamics area is impact on success. Now, well-oiled machine always runs smoother. I hope you would agree, right? A well-oiled engine would run faster and better and give you long performance. Why is that? Because that has a synergy, that has clear communication, and that's very well managed. A very well managed team, a very well balanced cultural team will give you the success that you desire, will achieve all the goals. There will be nothing that will come in their way. They'll be adaptable, they'll communicate well in advance, they'll have all the success in their life. Okay? Now, in the history, consider any successful team, successful business or successful sport. What is that one thing that they have great? They have amazing team dynamics. Now, what does that mean? They communicate well, right? They embrace conflicts. They are adaptable. They were flexible, right? They were ensuring success. They were ensuring everyone is taken alongside. They were not hiding things under the carpet. So, the team dynamics are not to be underestimated. They are to be cherished. Now, since you learned how to hire a team from outside, how to manage your team within the process, right, and how to have the good team dynamics, now welcome to this another section where we will be talking about building a strong team, right, from the scratch and building a culture of achievement. I will help you build a team where you do not simply, encourage the achievement, but you will celebrate the achievement. It's a simple 10-step guide that I've created for every one of you to, follow that and achieve the success. The first thing here is clear expectations. Set the very clear expectation from day one, right? Or keep repeating the expectations, right, in a monthly one-on-ones or a quarterly one-on-ones with the team members. That gives them clarity and that gives them vision, mission to succeed. The second step, accountability. It's very important. Make sure your team members are accountable and responsible at the same time for their success. Make sure the tasks that are given to the hands of your team members is achieved by and they are given the success of that. The third point is recognize and reward. No matter how small or how big the achievement is, you got to celebrate with the team members. Make sure you give pat on the back of a team member and say you did a good job, right? And don't simply say the good job. Identify what good job the person has done and share with the rest of the team members to encourage, right, themselves as well, right, to have a healthy competition among themselves. That's a very important aspect. This was the third point. Let's go to the fourth one. Foster innovation. That's the fourth point. Give your team members, freedom to think beyond just the process, what the SOP says, standard operating procedure says, right? Give them opportunities to talk about the ideas. Give them opportunities to talk about, what is there in their head. Can the process, can the work be done more efficiently and more effectively? There could be some people who are coming from a background, right, who would have done the tasks much better than what the company is currently doing, right? By having weekly or maybe monthly brainstorming hurdles, encourage that culture of innovation. And innovation will give you edge over the other team leaders around the company. Point number 5 is encourage learning, continuous learning, I would call it. When you have that environment where the learning is, emphasized and learning is appreciated, make sure you give them that nudge. Grow karna hi nahi karna hai. Continuous learning is very important. Make sure you give that message in their head. And time and again you repeat that in one of your team meetings. Say, you tell them very clearly, if you want to grow in your career, make sure you learn X activity, Y activity, Z activity. Align that learning to the promotion. Align that learning. I know many companies now, they assign scores of the learning in a year, in a quarter, and make sure that's a very important parameter. Come what may, how successful, how great employee you are, if you want to grow, if you want to become no, get to the next level, you got to have certain score in your trainings. That will give you extra edge over others. Why do they do that? They know the value of learning, guys. They know the value of a person who is continuously improving. Now, this point number 6 is very important, right? But yeah, this is very specific to you as a team leader. It's called lead by examples. आपने बहुत बार सुना होगा इसके बारे में. Do lead by example, guys. Do not simply talk about excel करना है जी अपने career में. Do not simply talk about growth. Do not simply talk about continuous learning. Make sure you invest time and energy, and make sure you become an example for them. Get the promotion in next 2 years. Done. Team lead बने, next मेरे को AM बनना है. AM बने, next मुझे manager बनना है. Show them the excelness. Show them the eagerness, right? Do not simply say. Do what you say, and make sure they are following you. यार ये बंदा बहुत fast है. He will make sure that he is growing, and he's also making sure that we are growing. So leading by example will put, right, them into the pressure of growing every time. A positive pressure, believe me. The next point number 7 here is communication. I cannot stress enough on this point. Have open communication. I spoke a lot many times in different videos as well, and today as well. Have open communication. Make sure they are raising their concerns and their training needs with you. Make sure they know that this guy can be trusted. He will take our voice to the next level. He will not keep things to himself or put on the carpet. So those communication, open communication is very important. Now, in the journey of excellence, people always ignore their milestones. They definitely think about giving the rewards and recognition to the team members. But next point talks about embracing the milestones, achieve them and success, and celebrate the success. Agreed, giving rewards and recognition does help, but celebration also matters. Sometimes you go to put money out of your pocket or have a Conti or go Dutch, right, and spend the money together. Go out from the office environment as well, or have a party within the office canteen, right? Talk to them. Celebrate the achievements. Every small or big milestone in your team is achieved. I can give you a lot of examples about it. Let's say one of your team member has done exceptional number of transactions in a day, which no one would have done in last 1 year. Celebrate that. Now, instant celebration could be clapping on the floor. Very important. People understand and acknowledge that. The next in line here is have every Monday celebrate. Decide a day where you celebrate something. It could be a personal or a professional success in any one of your team members' life. They will feel like thinking about यार अब क्या अच्छा हुआ है मुझे. They will focus towards good things in their life. That will foster the achievement culture in your team. And point number 9 here is persistence. Make sure your team is aware. They are simply not saying yaar ye team to star team hai. Star teams also fail at times. There will be instances, there will be time when you would not be able to achieve success even if you put heart and soul to it. It's all right. It's part of the process. Right? One day you success, one day you learn. One day you succeed, one day you learn. You never fail. Right? You always either learn or you always get success. Even your successes will teach you, but your failures will teach you more lessons than your success. Make sure that message is clearly communicated in everyone's head, so that they are working with a fresh mind. They are definitely driving toward excellence, but they are not worried about the failure as well. Now, the last point, point number 10 in building a culture of achievement is reflection. Make your reflection. Make sure this part is pretty much communicated and understood very clearly in their right sense. Ask your team to reflect on what they have done in the last project. Every quarter, there has to be a reflection exercise, which usually people call it as one-on-one exercise. Your senior team leaders may need a quarterly one-on-one, and your junior team leader may need a 15 days or maybe 1 month one-on-one as well. Once you do that, make sure you do a reflection exercise of a couple of minutes, wherein they are speaking about what they have done. They're well prepared before the call. They know ये one-on-one में ये सवाल पूछेगा भाई. It's a tough question. Instead of you putting across and giving all the feedback, they should be knowing what they've done. Right? Now that's very important aspect. In conclusion, building a culture of achievement or successful team is not a one-time task. It's an ongoing process. It will continue evolving. There will be a lot of things, and you can add more pointers to what I just said, or you can have lesser than them and still get the success that you desire. So what it requires consistency, it requires dedication, it requires trust in your team. If you have all of those three things and you're adaptable to change, there's no way you will not be able to build a successful team. So if you like this, the pointer that I've shared, let's jump to the next point. As we reach to the final step of the journey, it's very important to reflect. As I said, it's the very important point for building a successful team, and so as it's very important for everyone to recap. Let's see what we learned. First and the foremost thing is we learned about that the process of having a great team is a continuous process. We discussed about how to embrace their skills and the successes. We learned about how to set a great recruitment process by setting up correct JD, having the interview done, selecting the right candidate, and onboarding them. Next up, we talk about team dynamics in detail. We talk about those 6 steps of team dynamics, and then we jump and team dynamics. If you remember, this is done when the team is finally onboarded. You have everyone aligned with you, right? And then the next step here is building a achievement culture of achievement. How that is done? That is done by dedication, consistency, right? And that again done by the trust that you put in your team. Now you learned a lot in this video, and I strongly believe that you would definitely have equipped yourself to the skill set that I've shared. Now it's time to act on them fast. Implement all those strategies in your team dynamics and see your team succeed. Right? Now it's time to rise above your challenges, thrive in your role, and lead with passion and mission. Right? So with that, I'll take you leave for this video. Right? One last note: make sure you join my community of Fresher to Leader. There is a link in the description box, and there is an email ID connect@Fresher to Leader. If you want to have any questions, any suggestions, make sure to send an email to me or put down in the comment section. I'll be making sure that I'll include in the answers, and I'll be replying to each and every one of you. Thank you so very much for watching. Right? Do consider subscribing, like, and share this channel and video with the others who is requiring. Goodbye for now. See you next time.